Hello and welcome to Hospitality Hotdish, fresh from the oven. I am Kate Conroy, Vice President here at Hospitality Minnesota, which is a member-driven organization dedicated to educating, supporting, and advocating for Minnesota's hospitality industry. What you can expect from the Hot Dish are conversations with restaurants, hotels, resorts, campgrounds, and the allied members who support those businesses in the state of Minnesota. We release a new episode every other Thursday, so be on the lookout for those. Speaking of which, you can find the Hot Dish just about anywhere you can download a podcast. We even put them up on YouTube. So check us out and don't forget to leave that 5-star review so that the algorithm gets us in front of other awesome people just like you. Special shout out to today's sponsor, Terratron Incorporated, which includes Marriott and Westin branded hotels located near the Mall of America, along with several in the very up and coming community of Mankato, Minnesota. With me today is our very own Hanna Zinn of Hospitality Minnesota. Hanna, say hi and let the audience hear your voice.
Hi, everybody. My name is obviously Hanna Zinn. I'm the new Director of Government Relations for Hospitality Minnesota. Thanks for having me today, Kate.
Oh gosh, we are so thrilled to have you. My goodness. So we are going to jump right on in. Very hard-hitting question to start with, as always. Hanna, what is your favorite hot dish?
So I have a hot take on Hotdish because
Do tell.
I'm originally from Iowa, where we do not call it Hotdish. We call it a casserole. But one of my favorite ones growing up, it's called bubble pizza. It is basically you take Pillsbury Bill biscuits, you cut them into quarts, you mix them with like marinara or pizza sauce, and then you put them in a pan. You sprinkle on like ground beef, Canadian bacon, and then a bunch of cheese, and then you bake it, and it makes bubble pizza.
I have never heard of such a thing.
Yeah,
And
it's
no, I
really good.
can't. So, okay, wait. I have some follow-up questions. So, if you're gonna like mix the pizza dough with the pizza sauce and then you put it in a casserole, there's gonna be it's gotta be like three deep, right? You've got a
Oh
dough, a
yeah.
dough, a dough. Right. So the cheese is only hitting the top layer, unless do you mix it all together before you bake it?
Oh no. The cheese is the top layer. The biscuits get really like puffy, but they're so puffy that it's really like one solid layer of biscuit, not biscuit. And then it's like ground beef, whatever toppings you want, some green peppers, some onions, really delicious. And then you sprinkle on the cheese, but then you can also add more cheese at the end if it's not quite cheesy enough.
Got it. Got it. And so I'm guessing this is not a handheld the way that pizza would normally be a handheld. This is a fork and a knife dinner.
It's a
Yeah.
hot dish. It's a
It's
casserole.
a hot
It is
dish. Yeah.
yeah.
I bet you now that I'm thinking about it, that's gotta be like an incredibly economical way of feeding like a family of 4 or 5, right?
It is, yeah. Yeah, I grew up on a lot of casseroles. Chicken pepperoni, bubble pizza, tater tot hot dish, all
Ah.
all the usual faves. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
we were always on the go between being at soccer practice or theater practice or whatever. And so my mom would always do these casseroles because they were easy and they'd feed everybody no matter what time you got home that night.
I have literally never when you said bubble pizza, I was like, "I misheard her. That can't be."
Yeah.
Wow, you taught me something today. Thank you. I appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. Hey, I'm glad it was about food.
Speaking of food, in terms of hospitality, Hannah, what is your why?
Yeah, so growing up, my dad, before my parents had kids, they owned a couple of pizza restaurants in Spencer, Iowa, where I'm originally from,
What?
called Happy Joe's Pizza. Um, it it is still a chain here in Minnesota. There's one in New Ulm, and my dad and I often will meet there. It's our Mankato is our halfway point between here and Iowa, and so we will oftentimes meet and go to the Happy Joe's in New Ulm and have Happy Joe's Pizza. Um, it started, I believe, in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and so it's a Midwest chain. And yeah, my dad grew up, or he built both of those restaurants. and then had kids and decided he needed to step away from the restaurant industry for a little while so he could focus on being a dad and being around more with regular hours. And then as my brother and I got older, he actually managed a KFC franchise. He won Best of the Best in the nation for managing it, and he got a free, all expense paid trip to Disney World. Did not take my brother and I. I got stomach flu while they were gone. So the hospitality industry has always sort of been a part of my life growing up. And I've always seen, the need for it. My dad and I, we still love going out to local restaurants, and he loves to visit. He loves eating at local restaurants in my hometown. That's just sort of how we spend our time.
That's fantastic. I love that. That's a really cool story. I cannot believe they didn't take you to Disney World. What?
I know. And then I got the flu. It wasn't fair.
Insult to injury. That's not
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
I'm really impressed that you still talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, he is my best friend, so I do have to kind of keep a nice approach on there. But yeah, no, he's they made up for it. They brought me back some souvenirs, and we called it a day. So
Gee whiz. I mean, that's just talk about wholesome. Your dad is your best friend. I love that. But
yeah,
good heavens, I would have a hard time getting over. How old were you when they went there without you?
I think only like 7 or 8. Like I was prime Disney World age.
Prime time.
Yeah,
You should.
mhm.
That's.
But I will
I,
say my parents, they never took a vacation, and so that was like the one time that I really remember them taking time just for them because they were always so involved in the community and in raising us. And so, looking back on it, I think it was a very special trip for both of them to have with each other.
aw. All right, I forgive them. I forgive them for you. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break. Welcome back, everyone. Hanna Zinn, what is your favorite Minnesota escape?
Mm. Honestly, I'm going to be pretty lame here. I'm going to say my own apartment. I I know that sounds probably really lame, but in government relations, I have a very busy job, and I am constantly going places, meeting with people, spending time away from my home. And
Yeah.
so my best escape is my own comfort spot, my own place where I can watch whatever I want to that's not related to politics and really just kind of recenter myself and focus on my life outside of just what I do for work.
That's a great answer. And it segues beautifully into the next question, which is can you talk a little bit about what you do here at Hospitality Minnesota?
Yes. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm the Director of Government Relations for Hospitality Minnesota. I'm pretty new to the position. I believe I just crossed the 2-month mark. So, so far, so good. So far, I'm not in jeopardy yet. But I do a little bit of everything. I mean, I meet with members on their day-to-day business concerns. I shape and craft our legislative agenda. I work with outside coalitions, outside business organizations, really to foster economic growth, not only in Minneapolis, as we've been working on the Labor Standards Board issue, but across the state. I mean, there are so many places where in today's world, government impacts everybody. And if I can help be a part of the process of making Minnesota a better place for the hospitality industry, that's all I want to do forever. So I am just very grateful to be here and be doing this work. We have a great team, which makes things a lot easier. But no, it's I spend a lot of my day working on policy, which is the dream for a person like me.
I can't imagine what your other dreams are if that is, one of them. But I would love for you to talk a little bit because what you do is really hard. Like it is legitimately painful sometimes because when either side has a majority, it's easy for them to push through legislation. And sometimes, even though the intention is good, the legislation itself is just, for lack of a better word, really stupid. And I know that, we're still fighting and working on getting a carve out for junk fees, but there were a couple of bills last session that we killed before anybody even really knew that they were even possible, that would have cost our members millions of dollars
Yeah,
that we don't talk about a lot because we're so busy talking about the stuff that we're, like, trying to
actively
get done.
defending. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I have 2 that I love to talk about, the food waste bill and the bottle bill, but so feel free to take those. But if you have other bills that you are really, really excited that we were able to kill or augment in order to make them less offensive and difficult for our members, by all means. But would you talk a little bit about a couple just wins that we had that maybe people aren't aware of?
Yeah. So, well, I think one thing that actually isn't talked a lot about that my predecessor got included in the paid family medical leave bill was the hospitality exemption. That's for seasonal employees who work 180 days or less throughout the year, are exempted from having paid family medical leave. Um, that's a huge win for a lot of our resorts, campgrounds, RV parks. I mean, the folks who their busy season is maybe only 3 or 4 months out of the year. And so,
Yeah.
we have to, something that I always really like to remind myself is, it's not going to be this way forever. It's not always going to look like this. We are, it is, the world around us is always evolving, always changing. There's always something new around the corner. And, I know I get called the Leslie Knope of public policy quite often, and I wear that like a badge of honor.
Yeah, you
But
do.
I truly believe that when you're in this kind of role, you have to have hope that something is going to change or that there's going to be a shift somewhere that's going to allow you to do your job more effectively. And sometimes it's really hard when it's just constantly like, well, I guess we can get this done and this will be a win. Or, it's, constantly thinking in terms of that win-lose scenario. Um, I always, I always try to just think of it as what can we do better? It's not necessarily a win-lose. It's how do we improve? How do we make this better? Um, Compromise is also something that I think is needed a lot in policymaking. Not everybody has the best ideas. Not everybody, not one person, not one group, not one single entity has all the best ideas in the entire world. That's just not how good, effective policymaking happens. So
Mhm.
when you can find areas like in the paid family medical leave bill where you can carve out those exemptions, you can make those changes that will impact thousands of jobs. I mean, that's incredible. And so I really look forward to next session being able to continue to build on that and hopefully finding other areas where we can either carve out the hospitality industry or we can make significant investments into giving back to the hospitality industry. Because I love to say that it doesn't matter what legislative district you're in, it doesn't matter what county, city, wherever you are in the state of Minnesota, hospitality will impact you everywhere. It's from the restaurants that you eat at every night or with your family to the resort, the campgrounds, the tourism revenue that it brings. I mean, hospitality is an important economic development driver in the state of Minnesota. So why not do everything you can to protect that?
Perfectly said. Is there anything coming up that you'd like to promote?
Yes, I would love to invite everyone watching, everyone listening to our 2025 Day at the Capitol. It's going to be March 12th. It'll be at the Capitol in St. Paul. We will hear from legislators. We will have our wonderful ProStart students there helping to serve lunch and show off the great benefits of the hospitality industry. And there might even be Shamrock Shake.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they were a huge hit last year.
Yes.
McDonald's was very popular last year with Shamrock Shake. Oh.
Yeah.
And how can people get in touch with you if they need to bend your ear about something?
You can email me. You can I'm not on the socials, I have to admit, so I'm sorry you can't Twitter me, you can't X me. I don't know. I don't know all the young hip terms these days. Um I'm not on the TikTok. I'm not anywhere. Um but you can find me at hannah@hospitalitymn.com. At Hannah with no H at the end. I know it's weird, but if you don't do it that way, you won't reach me. So yeah, you can reach me there or on LinkedIn. I would love to hear any and all feedback. That's what my job is.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, well, fantastic. That is the show. One last shout out to our sponsor, Terratron Incorporated, which includes Marriott and Westin branded hotels located near the Mall of America, along with several in Mankato. Thank you to Terratron for the support. Hanna Zinn with Hospitality Minnesota, thank you so much for joining me today. And to all of you out there listening, we will see you next time. Bye.